nearly a year, South Carolina lawmakers and outside auditors have been investigating a mystery multi-billion-dollar sum that had been reportedly sitting in state accounts with no known owner. A long-awaited report just released today has now found almost all of that money does not exist. As State House reporter Mary Green explains, it's not the only revelation that this report sparked.
Two major revelations have stemmed from this outside audit released late Wednesday. The first is that mystery $1.8 billion doesn't actually exist and is due to an accounting error. The second is that South Carolina is now under a federal investigation because of this snafu.
There is no $1.8 billion surplus. There's no missing money. There's no stolen money. The funds don't exist.
An audit found that mystery $1.8 billion was in fact an accounting error made about a decade ago when the state converted from an old accounting system to a new one. The report found the state's treasurer, comptroller general, and auditor all knew about it, but it didn't come to lawmakers' attention until late 2022 and had remained on state financial reports.
I'm not saying there was a crime. I'm not saying there was a cover-up. But we knew that errors occurred and that the folks responsible for those errors chose not to try to correct them.
On Wednesday, Governor Henry McMaster avoided blaming any one person or office.
This is one of those situations where if everybody is responsible, then nobody's responsible.
Senator Larry Grooms, who led the group of senators that investigated this $1.8 billion, has come to a different conclusion.
The state's books were a mess. But the problem began, and let me make this clear, the problem began in the state treasurer's office.
That's led by elected Treasurer Curtis Loftus, who had pointed the finger at former comptroller Richard Ekstrom, who resigned in 2023 amid legislative scrutiny. In a video released after the report was published Wednesday, Loftus says it has, quote, validated what we've known all along.
This report confirms that there is no mystery bank account with $1.8 billion in it. There is no missing money, and all cash and investments are accounted for.
But the treasurer had testified under oath to senators that he had invested that money, which, again, the audit determined doesn't actually exist. And Loftus says his investments had generated somewhere around $200 million in interest for the state that lawmakers had spent.
Clearly, you can't earn interest over money that doesn't exist. So I'll be curious to hear how he explains that.
In conjunction with the report's release, the governor and lawmakers confirmed South Carolina is now under investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission because of this. Groom says the SEC's findings could result in a hit to the state's bond rating and substantial financial penalties.
We hope that those investigators will understand what happened, and because it was an accounting error, and no criminal conduct. Errors sometimes happen. Unfortunately, this was a big one.
The report also details more than 24 recommendations, including hiring a third party for outside oversight into the state's finances. Meanwhile, Senator Grooms reiterated Wednesday a call he's been making for nearly a year now, that Loftus should resign, while McMaster told reporters the same day that he still maintains his confidence in the treasurer. Reporting Columbia, I'm Mary Green.
Well, the audit cost the state about $3 million in taxpayer money. Meanwhile, Senator Groom says that the South Carolina Attorney General's office has already spent about $4 million defending the state in this ongoing federal investigation. And they believe that number will grow as the investigation continues.